Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Here's a fine guitar. And I will talk about this guitar, but a bit later in the video. And the video is about this guitar. But these days, I'm more interested in the stories than the sound of the guitars. If you want to hear about a guitar, you have to skip forward a bit in this video. If you're interested in the story, well, here's the story. It's my personal story with the band Kiss, and that started when I was really young. The first album I bought, well, I made my parents buy for me, was Kiss Alive 2. Not because I knew any of the music that was on the record, but because I was so intrigued by the cover, the pictures, the layout, the whole feel, the attitude. I mean, that photo of Ace Frehley with his Les Paul Custom is just like, wow, that was rock and roll to me. That was the ultimate of rock and roll when I was that age. So I begged my parents to buy that album, and it took them a couple of years. It took them a couple of weeks. Took me a couple of weeks to convince them. But yeah, finally did get a record, and I was less impressed with what was on the record than with the cover and the photos. I mean, the noise of the fans screaming and shouting the whole time was quite, well, a bit too much. I really liked the songs, but yeah, I think I thought then that they were a bit glam rock, pop metal, pop hard rock. But yeah, I mean, that album for me started my whole journey into rock and roll. I wanted to be Ace Frehley. So then, of course, things change. You learn new music, you learn to appreciate different things, and I was massively into new wave, underground music, and then later thrash metal. So steered away from the whole Kiss thingy. I kept following them because they were always close to my heart, but I wasn't buying all the albums after that. And I also thought that Kiss Alive 2 was their best album. But fast forward 97, we just recorded with my band Uncle Meat our second album at the Galaxy Studios here in Belgium. It's an enormous studio. I think they've gone bust now a couple of months ago. I mean, everything was there, state of the art, the newest of the newest stuff, floating recording rooms, I mean, everything. And our record company, ARS, who made quite a bit of cash when they released Pump Up the Jam from Technotronic. And the A&R guy was allowed to sign a band that was outside of their normal genre. And he asked if he could sign Uncle Meat, so our band. And the record label said, yeah, do whatever you want. And then they asked us, well, where you want to record? Galaxy maybe? All right, fine. Who do you want to record with? So who do you want to have as a producer? And we said Colin Richardson. Now Colin Richardson is the guy. At that time he'd done loads of metal albums. He was the producer for most of the Machine Head albums, Fear Factory. I mean, loads. So we asked, can we have Colin? And the record company said, yep, let's get him over. So Colin came to Belgium for, I think, 3 weeks to record the album, and then another week to mix the album. And then we went to London to have it mastered. So that was some serious stuff going on there. So we're at the peak of our musical career with Uncle Meat. We were playing all the big festivals here in Belgium. We toured Europe with Paradise Lost. I think we did 87 gigs in 3 months. I mean, we were oiled, we were trained. And then all of a sudden, I think in May, or April 97, Herman Schuurmans, the promoter for Rock Werchter, called us. In those days, these guys called the bands themselves. So he called us and said, yeah, my guys, I've got something that you may be interested in. Would you like to open up for Kiss when they come to Belgium in June? And we were like, what? Kiss? I mean, we were a thrash metal band. Kiss is Kiss. But anyway, yeah, we said yes, of course. And I was really excited because that was Kiss. And Ace Frehley was and still is, I think, one of the most tasteful rock and roll guitar players. He was the man. So yeah, of course, we wanted to do that. And the concert was in Ghent, in the Expo Hall. Massive venue, not really acoustically treated, so the sound wasn't very good. But yeah, I mean, you need a massive venue if you want Kiss to play. So yeah, we said yes. I think we were supposed to sound check around 5, so we drove up there. I think we were there at 3:30 to make sure that we were in time. And then we were giving sort of backstage sticker. So this is, I kept the thing, and I'm really surprised that it's in such good condition. So we were giving these green stickers to put on our clothes. And that paper behind is the label that would tell you where you were allowed to go when you had that green Kiss support sticker. It was actually their first tour where they were touring with the original lineup. So Ace Frehley was there, and that was a massive draw for me. And yeah, so we arrived at the venue. You could drive in with the car because it was massive. And the moment we came in, you immediately noticed that you were in the Kiss circus. So these guys had backstage areas, of course, but they weren't using the backstage areas that were available at the venue. No, they hired these mobile containers, these office units, and they raised them. They put them on stilts, metal poles. So they were like 3 meters up, and there was one staircase leading up to those, well, containers, and the containers were connected. So you couldn't get to the containers unless you had access to that staircase. And of course there was security at the bottom and at the top, so there was no way you could ever get in touch with the band. So they did that, and then there were signs all over the venue that said, "Don't speak to the band unless the band speaks to you." That was clear. And then signs that you weren't allowed to take photos. So yeah, we drove in there, saw those containers, were like, oh my God, this is the real deal. Then we went to the stage, had a look around. There were some technicians working to get everything ready. And I remember I asked one of the technicians, like, yeah, with the support band for tonight. He didn't really care much. And I asked him, we were supposed to sound check at 5. When do you think we can do our sound check? And he just sneered at me, when we are ready. And I said, okay, fine, thank you. So, any idea when that will be? And he just, when we are ready. And he gave me that look like, go away, you ant. We're working for Kiss here. You mean nothing to us. So yeah, we left it there and we set up our little merchandise booth, looked at the venue, walked around a bit, and eventually we were allowed on stage to do our little setup. So we had these stairs leading up to the stage left and stage right. Came up to the stage and it was, of course, covered with stuff from Kiss, and they were just pulling up the fake Marshall back wall at the back of the scene. And so I arrived on the stage. I was bass player at Uncle Meat with my stuff. And I looked around, massive venue, I mean, loads of gear. And there was a mic stand for Ace Frehley, Paul Simon, Gene Simmons. And I was at Ace Frehley's spot, so that was nice. And there was this mic stand, and the mic stand was covered with pigs. Kiss pigs. And I thought, wow, I'm going to get me one of those pigs. So I was smiling and looking at the rest of the band, and then turning to the left to where the monitor mixer was standing, and there was a guy behind the desk, and he looked at me and he saw me looking at the mic stand, and he said, touch it and I'll break your fingers. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. The whole thing is real. So yeah, of course, I I didn't need one of those plectrums. We did the setup, short sound check. I mean, we weren't allowed to do much of a sound check anyway. We were just in front of all the Kiss stuff. And then we noticed that behind one of the amps, I think, on both sides, there was a little hole in the stage with a staircase leading down. So we went down and had a look, and there was a guy working on a guitar on my side of the stage. So I suppose that was then Ace Frehley's tech. And I think Tommy Thayer was then working for Kiss as road manager and personal assistant to Gene Simmons. I don't think he was the guitar tech for Ace Frehley at the time, but I hope he was. But I'm not sure, because I didn't know the guy and I didn't recognize the guy who was working on the guitars. But we went down there, and it was like dark with a small lamp, and he was putting strings on the guitar, I think, and he looked over his shoulder and he nodded and said, "Hey guys." So he was quite friendly, and we thought like, oh, okay, we should probably get out of here. So we went back up those stairs, and then we went to hang out in the backstage area. And then all of a sudden there were sirens. So we were like, what the hell's going on? Police came in on motorbikes, and then some other guys pulled out some, you know, that police ribbon, do not crime scene, do not enter. So they used that to push everybody away from the entrance of the backstage area, and cars drove in, and there was still police coming in, and we were pushed to the back, to the wall, and then these limos came in and parked right in front of the staircase that led up to the backstage cabins, those office units. And I think the guys from Kiss came out, because you couldn't see them because it was all so fast and they were far away, and then walked up those stairs and they were gone. So that was the entrance of Kiss. So we were still just hanging out and wandering around, waiting actually for our time to play. And after like 30 minutes, I went to have a look at the catering area, which was also behind the stage, of course, and it was massive. It was empty. There were like tables that could sit 80 to 100 people. It was massive. And there was coffee and food and this and that. So I grabbed me a coffee, and just looking around, and at the far end of that part of the venue, at the last table, there were two guys sitting. And I thought they were local guys. I thought they were guys connected to the building, the facility. So I thought, oh, let's make friends with those guys, because they're always handy. These guys know the building inside out, and if you need something, they're the guys that can help you. So I thought, I'm just gonna chat with those guys, and then, yeah, if we need something tonight, we've got a contact. So I walked over to those guys, and then all of a sudden, when I was almost there, I noticed that the guy who was facing me was the technician that was working on the guitar under the stage where I was. So I thought, oh my God, maybe he's talking to one of the technicians in the venue. So yeah, I won't be sitting down with them, because this is Kiss guitar tech. So I just say hi to the technician from the venue, and I'll be gone. So I walked closer, and all of a sudden, the guy that was sitting with his back towards me looked over his shoulder at me, because he was noticing that the other guy had seen me, and it was Ace Frehley. So it was Ace Frehley talking to his guitar tech, and when I recognized Ailey, I was shocked. He looked so bad. He looked absolutely terrible. I'm not sure if he was drinking at the time or what he was doing, but he looked like he was going to die on the spot. It was really heartbreaking. And he nodded, and then I thought, shit, I have to go, I can't stay here. So I nodded back and I said sorry, and I just walked off. But I was shocked by the way Ace Frehley looked. It was not what I expected. But yeah, okay, there you are. Then we had to play. The whole thing started. I think we played around 8, and I think we were allowed 25 minutes to play. So we went on stage, and I mean, this is a massive venue, so you have to envision, like, I don't know how many people could fit in there, maybe. Don't know. Anyway, but the first 10 rows of people that were standing in front of the stage were all people with Kiss makeup on. So, I mean, the guys that came for us were all at the back, of course. I mean, as a support band for Kiss, you mean nothing. You're just there to kill some time. So the first thousands were all people with Kiss face masks, and they were looking at us like, oh no, a support band. Guys, get off stage. We're not here for you. So that was what you had to work with. We did our thing, as we always did. We really went for it and full on and rock and roll. But it was quite stressful, actually. It was not really relaxing. And the response from the audience, I mean, since those first 20 meters were all Kiss family, it was very difficult to gauge the real response from the audience. So we did our thing. And just before we went off stage, I did nick one of Ace Frehley's picks. I suppose he will have thrown some in the audience. I don't know, I hope not. But this is the real thing. So I was there anyway, and the monitor mixer was staring at his desk, and I was right in front of that mic, so I just nicked one, and I got one. That was our experience as a support band for Kiss. After that, we went in the venue and watched the show from Kiss, and it was not good. It was a bit sad, especially since I've seen Ace Frehley before, and I knew that he was in a very bad state. I was constantly watching him, like, how is he doing? They had to drag him on that stage. Two guys, one on each side, really pull him up the stairs, put him on the stage, and then sort of push him in the right direction, like, there's your spot, now do your thing. It was bizarre. He went off stage, I think, 2 or 3 times. Don't know why. Maybe they gave him oxygen, I have no idea. And then he crawled back on stage, tried to do his thing. And for those who have seen Kiss or know a bit about how their shows go, there's moments where they do some pyro, and Ace has got a guitar with pyro on the back of the neck, and they sort of explode these fireworks the moment he points his guitar to the ceiling, and he was always late. So it was like this. He was playing, and you heard that bang, and then after that, like a second later, he lifted his guitar to the ceiling to fake the fact that the bang came from the guitar. I mean, it was almost comical. It was that sad. So yeah, a genuine experience, not a good performance from Kiss. I think they're doing better now, and they've changed their lineup, and they've ditched Ace, and Tommy Thayer, the guy who was doing, well, road management and personal assisting for Gene, and maybe he did some guitar tech for Ace. I'm not sure about that. He stepped in, and he's the guitar player for Kiss now, and that's why I thought, with my story, I should get one of his signature guitars. Now, when it first came out, I wanted one, just because of Kiss. Look at that sparkle paintwork. It's absolutely fantastic. I didn't expect, I don't know why, I didn't expect a top quality instrument. I thought it was more like memory, my Kiss connection. But it turns out it's fantastic guitar. It really is. I mean, just the pickups. Seymour Duncan's GBs, both. This one is covered, this one is open, and it's got blue bobbins, which is fantastic. So even the pickups are almost worth the price of the guitar. They got fantastic, and I think they're Grover tuners, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. I think they are the smoothest tuners I have on any of my guitars, and they're They feel exactly the same as the ones on the Thayer guitars. Just as smooth. It's like they're bathing in oil. This, not sure you can hear this, but the smoothness at which they operate is just fantastic. The fretwork is, well, nothing short but perfect. Then the paintwork. I mean, I've got a few Gibsons. I've got quite a few guitars. The paintwork on this guitar is as good as anything I have seen ever. And you might say, yeah, you could say that. But, okay, I'll bring it a bit close to the camera. If you can see the way the binding is done, there's no leak. There's no bleed anywhere. Absolutely perfect. These guitars are made in China, not sure where. I mean, look at that. I still have to pull the plastic off this scratch plate, metal scratch plate. It's a fantastic guitar. The neck is just perfect. Not sure you can hear this. I mean, even this. So the nut is just cut perfect. It's exactly how I would do it. So I can't fault anything. The craftsmanship is just outstanding. It is outstanding. And of course you got a Tommy Thayer signature at the back of the headstock. It's the business, guys. I think the fretboard is Indian Laurel. Fine by me. There you go. This is the case it comes in. Now how cool is that? A proper hard shell Gibson case as far as I'm concerned. Blue on the outside, black on the inside. And some stickers and all that stuff, you know, the good stuff. So what a package for $5.99. If you can grab, I mean, even for twice that price, it would still be a very good deal. And now, after having seen the guitar and played the guitar, I would definitely pay that much because it's absolutely worth it. It's a top guitar. All right, guys, that was my story about Kiss, and that's the guitar, and I think I should have one because. See you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.